Well, alrighty everybody, this is UXW Bill here, and I've been called in kind of late to the party by the keykeeper and our dad. But the lady of the house, our mother, came to us with a complaint that she said the clothes dryer was in fact not heating. And I'll tell you what, when the lady of the house comes to you with a complaint, what do?
We get down on our knees and beg forgiveness.
We drop everything and we fix it. That's what we do. So the keykeeper and our dad started working on this, and they didn't have any luck getting to the edge of the problem here. So then they called me because they knew that if nothing else, I would demonstrate to it that maybe I didn't bring it into this world, but I could certainly take it out of it. So between the keykeeper's boots and my bad temper in general, which none of you believe because none of you have ever seen it, but the keykeeper did find a tucked up schematic in here, which makes things a lot easier to explain how the circuit works and what's going on here.
Ski what?
Ski free. Any of you remember that? Okay. So anyway, what you've got here basically, when this thing's sitting idle and nothing's going on, you press the start button and that does two things. That immediately introduces electrical power to the timer motor and to the electrical blower and drum circling motor, drum rotation motor. And then from there, the timer takes over, and the timer has a couple of thermal sensors that it relays information to and from. But at the same time, the other thing that's going on is an igniter starts up, and then the gas valves open, and a flame detector finds out whether or not the gas has actually been lit and turned into a flame or not. And if it isn't, it shuts the gas supply off and tries again a couple of moments later. And then there are a series of thermal protection devices and thermostats on this thing. These right here, at least one of these is the thermostat. And then this down here, which you can't hardly see, is the thermal protector. And lo and behold, the simplest things bring a complex machine to its knees. That's something to think about when you're trying to troubleshoot something. The things that have the most impact on a device's operation are usually the simplest root causes. In this case, after so many years, that little thermal protector finally opened up. Now the duct doesn't seem to have been blocked, and the impeller seems to be moving plenty of air and not slipping on its drive shaft. So all we can guess is that our wonderful cheap Whirlpool scratch and dent dryer, which has survived at least one basement flood, and maybe that hastened the demise of the thermal sensor, but all we can guess is that it finally gave up after so many years because an ohmmeter test, after finding the part referenced in the schematic, an ohmmeter test confirmed what I thought, that the little thermal protector, which is a one-shot device, blow it and it's time to replace it with a new one, there it is, had finally succumbed to years of use and just failed. And of course, when it failed, it's wired such that it killed power to the gas valves, and it also killed power to the dryer's igniter, leaving us with a dryer that would sit here and tumble clothes wonderfully, but would never heat anything. So, there you have it. Now we've just got to get a new thermal cutout, and this dryer should be back in business. Of course, if this should happen to you, you'll also want to check your vent tubing to make sure that it is indeed not plugged and that there are no other problems. And while you're in here, now this is a scratch and dent dryer. This thing was hit when it was new with a forklift or something, so it's dented. And the tub may not seal properly on it, which may explain all the lint that's inside it. But if you ever have to go inside your dryer, or even just as a matter of preventative maintenance, go ahead and get a household vacuum, shut the gas and electricity off, unplug the thing, and clean it out. Because laboring in that kind of filth, dust being flammable, you could have a dryer fire, and nobody wants that. This one's been vacuumed out. The majority of what's left in there is muck from the flood when it went under. So there you have it, the diagnosis of a dryer.